that last entry in the 42% crime series, I sat on that for like a day because I'm like, how the fuck do I post this? I mean, I don't have a big channel, but it only takes the wrong set of eyes to see it, and then there's problems. And in that case, there's two sets of problems. I mean, one being if you upset certain people, they'll burn your house down. And then there's another group of people that are just going to put you in a van. And this has both of those elements to it. But so I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But let me just get through this area here before I start talking about crazy stuff. The thing about Native Hawaiians being denied living spaces in favor of people from the mainland, from bad areas, it doesn't make sense unless you kind of understand the way the beast operates. The beast, even though this is Native Hawaiians, this is their land, Kingdom of Hawaii, it was never officially annexed. It's an occupied territory as it currently stands. The beast sees Native Hawaiians as the conquered in this situation. So it'll always put them on the lowest rung of anything, like in society, whatever kind of thing they're having to wait for or to do or to any help they get from the state. They'll always be in the very last spot. That's just how the beast operates. It's its MO. It does that to everybody that it takes over, takes advantage of, takes things from. Usually it's a lot quicker, like not as long as this situation here, like as far as, like, for instance, you know, the American Indians, they just put them all on reservations, done. Anywhere like, you know, Northern Ireland, it always looks at the Irish in its controlled situation. They're the bottom of the list too. It's how they operate. It's the beast's MO. So that's why, like, it will be taking people from the mainland and filling this housing with them first. You know, that's how it operates. You know, it's not good. But the thing with Hawaii is that it's been happening. It's a slow motion kind of humiliation. What's been happening here? It's played out over years and years. You know. So yeah, that's why they always get the bottom. They go to the bottom of the list as far as being able to receive stuff. And I've been in that industry, and there definitely is, even among its own citizenry, the United States, if you're waiting for some kind of service from the beast, whether it's housing or money or whatever it is, the less boxes you check, the further back you go. The further back you go. That's just how it is. Whatever. You know, this is, you have to contend with it. But that's why. Like, I don't know if I made that clear enough as to why they're getting bumped. And why, you know, got people like Based Kurt have to freak out, you know. I understand his anger, you know. And, you know, people mention that, you know, it's not fair to do to the housing authority woman. She has a family, and yeah, I feel bad for her family, like, but what she's doing is, in the grand tradition here of selling out the people so that the few can get under the beast's wing and get the fancy pants and all the stuff, you know. It's too bad. It's too bad. The thing that I'm interested to see with this the influx of new residents is how it's going to work with the Chinese. This is a unique situation that's like nowhere else in the U.S. When they've been putting immigrants from Africa into the United States, which is pretty much specifically just what it is, they're using people from there as like biological weapons to cause chaos, and you know, it's not because of anything except that some people don't get on very well, depending on where they're from and their background and their racial makeup. They're just not going to get along. They want to tell you that, you know, race is a social construct and all that sort of, but I cannot get away from people. Well, what am I going to do? Let me see. Let me run over here. Yeah, it's hard to talk about the kind of shit I talk about when you have people just all around you. But anyway, just focus. Ignore. Throw the ignore switch on. Yeah, they like to say that. The race is a social construct. Everyone's exactly the same. It's not true. It's a lie. That's not true. That's a lie. And that's just how it is. So what they do is to destabilize areas. Holy fuck! I'm just gonna go stand under this tree and stare at it. It's like they're all dogs, and I have a raw meat in my back pocket. I'm trying to like move so that I can get out of people's way, but their way then becomes my way. Like, no, we're going up your ass. Okay. I don't want to start this over, you know. I'm going to get through this with you. You and I are going to do this together. So, yeah, there are people that are just really different. And well, that's the whole thing. We are all really different. But that can't be brought up because it undermines their whole grift. If it's understood that there are large differences between people from different nations, different nationalities, that come from different continents, not just in their attitudes or their morals or their point of views, biologically different. You can't say that though, but it's true. I mean, just look, you know, it's there. Just take look at the brain of an Asian guy from the East and put it up against the brain of a Eastern European. There are differences. It's just there. You can see it. But we're not able to discuss that, unfortunately. Our farmers know that. Of course they know that. And that's why they try to jam people together who are just incompatible, who have a different idea of what is right and wrong, or what is permissible and what is not. And it causes chaos. And it's all to do with this order out of chaos thing. The more screwed up they can get society or people, right? Fuck me in the ass. Dude. I can't. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here just for a minute, just to shake everybody. Stand over here. No one has any reason to come over here, okay? No one has... Look at this. No one has any reason to come stand behind me. Fucking hell. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to refocus this here. And every time like I turn the camera to, like I'm watching some of the stuff I'm editing, and I'm like freaking out about being surrounded constantly. But then I turn the camera, you don't see anyone, because I can't film behind me at the same time, you know. Whatever. Look, I'm going to gain control of myself and power through this. But yeah, the farmers absolutely know that different people are incompatible as far as being able to live together harmoniously. And they purposely jam them all together. That's why they want you in a city. They love cities because they can jam people together who would never, under any circumstances, be living together or near each other. The way the realm here is developed, people are kind of built for their area. Now that ship has sailed a long time ago, literally, because boats fucking ruined everything. If there wasn't for boats, everybody would be where they should be, and everyone would be happier. Yes, some people wouldn't be as developed as others, but that's fine. Eventually, they will be. It would get rid of a lot of problems. It would stop a lot of problems. It's just how it's supposed to be. But it's not, you know, this artificial, everybody get in the same fucking, the melting pot thing. You know who would tell you that the melting pot is a bold and noble idea? Your fucking enemy. Your enemy would tell you that. Do you know who put a statue, a beacon of a transgender guy holding a torch as a point of light, and have it say, give me the worst people from your area and send them here? Your enemy would do that. So they want everybody jammed in these cities, living on top of each other, people that are absolutely incompatible. Now this crazy crime that's going on here, this brazen kind of crime, just didn't exist here before. Now, yeah, there was always bad apples, and you did have violent crime that existed, but not this kind of violent crime. You know, I mentioned Native Hawaiians and Islanders having respect for the ohana and their ancestors, and they know that there's a line. There was no one going up and putting a gun to a pregnant woman to get her purse. These guys from the mainland, they don't give a fuck about it. They do that shit all the time. They do that shit all the time. Now Hawaii, I kind of thought we were kind of safe. Because what's happening in the U.S., and it's happening in every country, but what's specifically happening in the U.S. is they're sending immigrants. You know, Kenya, Haiti, the darkest parts of Africa. The dark African continent. And they're sending them to live in like fucking Dubuque, Iowa. Or suburban parts of New Jersey. So of course you're going to have a lot of crazy violence. It's just how it is. When you put guys that come from an area where mainly it's a hunter-gathering type of thing, even though hunting and gathering really doesn't go on a lot of places in Africa anymore unless you're in a tribe, because, you know, that evil colonizers showed up and gave them roads and modern technology and stuff. So, I mean, whatever. So they just they don't have to do that. They don't have to chase animals around anymore to take them down. But that's still biologically in the people. That's still a genetic thing. It's inside them to be that way. So it's like, you know, when you put that together with someone who is like, who doesn't have those kind of impulses, you know, you get machete attacks and stuff. It's just how it is. It's not like this is my opinion. This is just look, you know, read, study. Although people tell you, don't do your own research, that's racist. A fucked up world. But yeah, so a guy from the African bush is not compatible living next to Mr. and Mrs. Jones in Seaside Heights. There's going to be trouble, you know. But here in Hawaii, I used to think, like, they can't get immigrants over here. How would they do that? How would they do that? You know, oh, ships showing up to Hawaii. Way the fuck out here. They're not going to roll up here, right? They're not going to roll up here. Yeah, well, what they did instead was they just took people that were already on the mainland of the same kind of makeup and background, and they shipped them all here to cause the problems that you're seeing right now. I mentioned the switch over with the drug dealers downtown as being a CIA operation type of thing, or a government. That's what this is. That's what this is. Exactly what what this is. Now, the interesting thing, like I was mentioning earlier, the Chinese don't go for the shit. You fuck around Chinatown, you'll end up in a dish, you know. They'll be feeding you to people that afternoon. They're not like the way white-skinned Eastern, or not Eastern, but white-skinned Europeans have been cucked so hard in this country that they'll just bow to people and say they're sorry, they'll kiss people's feet, all that other kind of shit. The Chinese don't do that. They have no reverence for these people from Africa. They don't bow before them. They don't worship them like a lot of people do here in this country. They don't like them, you know, and they don't tolerate them. None of the nonsense goes on over there. In fact, look at how the way Chinese media laws are. I mean, they're not going to put up with it. And we have a large Chinese population here. So what happens when African people meet Chinese people and they come together? A great movie, Empire of Dust, which gave birth to the meme, It's All So Tiresome, is a great documentary about a Chinese company going to Africa to try to do some, I think they're doing mining, they're mining some kind of thing. And it's a real interesting view into the two kinds of mindsets, into two kinds of people, and the way they come together, and the differences between them. It's the Chinese, for the most part, are usually no nonsense. They're not prone to allegory. They're not into sarcasm. Owen Benjamin had a great bit he did called the Chinaman and the Jew, where a Jewish guy goes into a Chinese laundry, and he's got like he's picking up some shirts, and he's doing his thing. His people are very into sarcasm and, you know, wizardry and doublespeak, and he's like, it's really nice to pick up my clothes and pay for the stain removal, and I still have a mustard stain on my shirt. That's really nice. And then the Chinese guy's like, why you want mustard stain on your shirt after you pay for it? That's stupid. And it goes on like that. And it's pretty funny. It just shows the differences between people and their mentalities and the way, and what happens when they interact. So we've seen a lot of nonsense here. Murders. I was reading about the murder that happened a couple streets down from here, where two guys in hoodies just opened fire on this guy. Once he was on the ground, they stood over him, started shooting him. About 2 minutes walk from there is where five guys beat another guy to death. And the next street over is where we had the armed standoff. A security guard a couple months ago was shot sitting in his car. Like, this shit just never happened. And, you know, it's all coinciding with a influx of new residents whose group has gone up 3 to 4% a year. So the past 3 years, they've had a 10 to 12% jump, or 9 to 12% jump in population. And we've had almost a 50% jump in crime. The people that are coming from low-income areas, because the housing that's being taken here is low-income housing. So this is all planned. This is a whole planned thing. It's their way to get the kind of madness here in Hawaii that they now have everywhere on the mainland. And every other country is doing the same thing. Just people that are traditionally not compatible living side by side, being rammed together. And it causes chaos. The kind of violence will bring in It's the cause and solution thing. Like, well, things are getting more. I mean, they talked about calling in the fucking National Guard here in Waikiki to try to stop this crazy fucking crime shit, this jump in crime that's gone on here. And what it does is then it gives the government more control. Like, oh, there's a lot of violence going on there, so we have to implement a curfew. We have to have these kind of, you have to have this kind of ID now, and it sets up all that other shit for a more draconian situation across the islands, and indeed across the states and across the country and across the world. Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. That's what's going on, But then again, I mean, I'm just a schizo and a fucking who walks around mumbling to himself in his neighborhood. So, fuck you, I know. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.